Last week, a Naughty Dog vet started a new game studio. A Black Panther open world game was leaked, and Mojang says no to NFTs. Join us live every Monday at 3:30 Arizona time at twitch.tv/lonercast, and later on every podcast service known to man by searching Last Week in Games. What is up, boyos? Welcome to Last Week in Games, where everything is video games. My name is Jake. That is Nick. How are you doing, Nick?
Hi.
How are things?
Surviving.
Just surviving.
We're surviving over here.
Yeah.
We're vibing.
It's hot. We're dying,
Yeah.
Planet's eroding. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
I went.
the kind of vibes we have,
Yeah, it's just how it is right now, everywhere. I went to the lake this weekend. I'm not a lake person. I actually really hate the lake culture. Just in general, lake culture is disgusting. And if you go to the lake, you should feel disgusting because you are disgusting, and I think less of you.
Oh, dude,
No, that's not
especially Lake Pleasant. Like, oh
Oh,
god.
it's bad, man. It's bad. So
Terrible.
I went to the lake. We were out there from like 7 to 3, and I got burned pretty bad. Even though I applied 3 or 4 times sun lotion all over the place. Still, I look like a freaking. I didn't do any fishing, except I caught myself a big old salmon to myself because I look like a fucking
You
pink ass salmon.
are the big ass salmon.
I am the big ass salmon that
Yeah.
I caught.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I've been calling you
Ridiculous.
that for years.
It's true.
Yeah.
I am known by many names, and one of those names is Nick the Big Ass Salmon.
Yeah, I'm just like, what up, salmon?
Yeah.
Let's call you Sam for
happened.
short.
I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. I had a great time, tubing and swimming in the lake. But I don't know if I don't need it. I
Yeah.
just don't need it.
Yeah.
It was fun for that, and now I have to live with the repercussions as a pink bear, and I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. I know the feelings all too well, man, because like I just burn. I drive to work, my arm's sunburned just from being on the window. It's just that's how easily I burn.
Yeah.
But I love going swimming and stuff. But yeah, it's terrible. My dad has this pool though, and it's surrounded by trees. It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's gorgeous. Except it'd be pretty hard to maintain.
Yeah, but he's got dudes. He's got
dudes.
He's got dudes, so it's all good. But it's great because I go over there, it's just like all shaded. I'm like, yes, this is great.
I can live in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So over the weekend, Nick, as I'm sure you're aware, because we've talked about it, was San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh,
which
yes.
I posted a 30-minute video just breaking down all of San Diego Comic-Con, which people should go watch it. Please go watch it and like it and, comment on it or whatever. But in that video, I didn't get your opinions on any of that stuff. Do you have any thoughts on San Diego Comic-Con?
I honestly wasn't paying attention to anything announced at San Diego Comic-Con.
I mean, all the Marvel stuff.
If you want to give me an example, like the Marvel stuff.
Yeah. That's the main thing.
I have no opinion. I mean, I feel like they did this last year or the year before or whatever, and we got like phase 4, and they announced phase 4 and like the plans for everything. And it seems like they just kind of filled it in a little bit more and didn't go as far because like the plans from the last time I saw this like roadmap, we had like Nova, Fantastic Four was in there. And it's just some weird shit was supposed to happen. And we didn't get any of that.
A lot of that stuff is still happening.
I haven't seen any updates on it, and this is just kind of like, yeah, those things are way the fuck out there. We're not even worried about it.
The more surprising thing to me was, and I talked about it in the video, so go watch that. But the more surprising thing to me was like how quickly we're going through three phases. Where like phase 1, 2, and 3 took like what 10, 11 years,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're getting three more phases in the course of 5 years.
See, yeah,
Because
that's
phase 5 starts with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then they announced that phase 6 starts with Fantastic Four,
right.
and ends with Avengers, and we're getting two Avengers movies in 1 year, which is
Well, that's fine.
weird.
That's fine. I mean, you can do Avengers. You don't have to. Avengers doesn't have to be like the end all be all. Like, this is what we've led up to.
I think
But
that
it,
is what it is, though.
I don't. I think that's a bad thing to follow, and it'll get very repetitive and very boring. If they continue with that sort of timeline issue. Um, no, yeah, the phases seem to be years at this point. It's like, okay, so phase
They're
4 is
turning
going to
into
be
that,
one
right?
year, phase 5 is going to be 1 year, phase 6 is going to be 1 year, and it's just like, okay, why do you even bother? Why
Yeah.
even bother
No,
with
it's just
phases?
yeah.
It's become so redundant, and it doesn't matter. It seems like the phases don't really matter, because
It's more about
what's
the sagas that matter, right? So like we
yeah.
had the Infinity Saga, and then they announced that this one is called the Multiverse Saga.
Right, and I feel like that should have been called the phases rather than the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I imagine like a phases is a run of like a comic series, and like this is everything, and then we have the final comic where they all come together and do this thing. But I don't think it matters how they word it because it's literally just this is this year, this is going to be this year, next year, the year after. That's the phases. Um,
Yeah,
So
and
I'm very unimpressed with how
I'm okay.
Marvel's doing stuff right now. I'm really hoping that they're going to turn it around to I just feel like we're getting too much shit.
Yeah.
I'm getting oversaturated, to
The
be honest.
the phases are I think going to be more confusing as we go along, because I think as we go on into the future, instead of having one big thing that we're leading towards, like we did with Endgame, we're going to have multiple things that we're leading towards, and like different properties are leading to different things.
Uh-huh.
Um, like I think a lot of the stuff with like, Yelena and young Hawkeye and John Walker, and, the stuff with like Julia Louis-Dreyfus and stuff, that's
Mhm.
all leading to the Thunderbolts movie that comes
Right.
at the end of phase 5.
Right.
Um, and like then we have this stuff with like Loki and Multiverse of Madness and like the multiverse stuff, which is leading to uh
Keg.
Kang, and
Mhm.
Fantastic Four will probably introduce Doctor Doom, although there's speculation that we'll see him in the new Wakanda Forever movie. um which, if Wakanda Forever is ending this phase and it ends with like here's Doctor Doom, and it's like it really sets the course, that would make sense, because that's how phase 1 was, right? Where
Yeah.
phase 1 didn't really have a path until the end, and at the end of Avengers, we got the little tease of Thanos. And if
Right.
at the end of this, we get the little tease of Doctor Doom, and he's actually the main villain of Avengers Secret Wars, um, that would make sense. But yeah, it's just a lot of content. I worry for my main worry about it, because I don't mind a bunch of content, as you know, as a comic book reader. I'm okay with them having things that are like, this is for one subsect of people and this is for another
Right.
subsect of people. My only
Right.
concern
Yeah.
is
I wish that they would do it a little better, not just like this is part of phase 4. I wish they'd be like, if you like these movies, this is kind of what it's like,
yeah.
More so like comics where like you can skip this one if you want. Yeah,
But I think that's where they're going, right? Is they want it to be like comics, where it's like you can skip this one, or but like the big event, if you want to be like really involved with the big event, you should be reading everything. um which is, yeah, it just seems like they're going more the comics route, where it's just like a bigger expanded universe. My
Yeah.
only concern is the VFX artists, and I hope they're not being too overworked. I hope everyone's getting paid. They need to
Yeah.
unionize. I hope they do.
That yeah, that can be a whole nother thing. We could have another like strike, like a writer strike, but
they sh-
VFX strike for
they should
Disney.
do it.
And I can see
And
that.
and that'll probably push all these movies, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
almost feels like Marvel's planning, like we're planning so much in advance that if something does happen, then if it gets pushed,
We
we
have
still have
it.
all this content. It's
Yeah.
just getting
Hmm.
expanded out,
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a video game show. Let's talk about video games. But everything's video games. So Marvel video games. You know what I mean? Uh,
Hmm.
anyway, Nick, what you been playing, man?
Dude, nothing new. It's all the same. I am kind of waiting. It's a lull for me. I'm kind of waiting for something uh, to come out.
Hmm.
Mainly right now, Saints Row is on my list, pretty high on my list. People got 4 hour playtime with it. We unfortunately did not. We were not invited. I guess our invites got lost in the mail
Yeah,
or
what the hell,
something.
Volition? What the hell?
So oh well. There's always next time.
Yeah, Saints
Um,
Row 2.
yeah, but the everybody seems to be liking it a lot,
Yeah.
and that makes me excited. They say it's like a mix of Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3, which is like okay. If they took the good from Saints Row 2 and the good from Saints Row 3, fantastic,
How do you
fantastic.
how do you feel about like the lack of like Johnny Gat and stuff?
I don't care. The characters don't really matter to me. The characters only really mattered to me in the second one.
Yeah.
You know, like with when you cut Carlos and then Carlos fucking dies in that
Dude,
terrible way, and you're
Carlos.
like, fuck, man, fuck.
Yeah.
But then they kind of went goofy. Like
Yeah. There was a
in the
stark
third and
difference
fourth one.
between a lot of those characters in 2 to 3. They almost felt like
Hmm.
different characters.
Yeah,
Not in like
yeah,
a necessarily bad way. Like I like what they did with Kenzie, but
yeah.
um
Hmm.
anyway.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping you'll play with me.
Oh yeah, I'll play with you. Not Saints Row,
Ooh,
but I'll play with you.
ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's mainly on my radar. I can't think of anything else that's coming out recent like soon that I'm actually going to pick up. So we're in the lull, playing Monster Hunter like crazy, playing TFT like crazy. Yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
I played a new game actually.
You did?
So while you're like there's a lull, I'm like
Hmm.
there's a brand new game that I've been excited about. Oh my god. I see a face in the back. um, anyway, there's a new game that came out called Stray, which is about a cat. And like I said last week, I just upgraded my PlayStation Plus Essentials
Uh-huh.
into PlayStation Plus Premium, which includes Stray. Because Stray, the
Uh-huh.
game alone, was $40. So I just upgraded for a year to Premium, which was also $40. So now I got to fuck around with that a little bit and look through a bunch of the games. And I got to say, before I get to Stray, there's a lot of fucking games on there.
Is
uh,
there?
especially if you're like someone who doesn't have like a lot of games. Unfortunately, a lot of the games that are on there are like games that I have already played. But if I was like a young buck, right? If I was like 15 years old and just got like a PS5 and got this service, oh man, it's a total uh oasis of video games on
It's
there,
a game changer, huh?
Yeah, there's a ton of games on there. Um, you know, so that's cool. I really hope they iron out the PS3 emulation stuff because I would love native PS3 games on there as opposed
Hmm.
to the shitty streaming that we're getting for the PS3 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could be really cool if they really stick with it and yeah, do it well. PlayStation just has like this wealth of IP. Anyway, I got really distracted there. I played Stray.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah, back to it.
Yeah,
Played Stray.
Stray, and I beat Stray as well.
Nice. I hear it's pretty short.
Yeah, I think it took me about 5 hours. Um, this game I think got a pretty good Open Critic score if I'm correct.
if you would like to scroll down to the end and
Oh,
spoil it.
let's take a look. Yeah, Stray got an 84, which is pretty good. I have seen online it's been a little like divisive as far as like some people didn't like it, some people did like it, some people thought, the gameplay was boring or whatever, blah blah blah. I thought it was very very good. I think the thing that surprised me the most about Stray was the storytelling aspects of it. I wasn't expecting like to get connected to these like robot characters that
Hmm.
were in the game the way I did. Um, yeah, and I just love that. You get a little like Navi character almost, He's like a
Right.
little robot floating head thing. That's sort of like Navi from Zelda. But you get really attached to that guy and his story and figuring out who he is because he kind of has like amnesia and doesn't know who he was and where
Right.
he came from. And as you start to figure some of that stuff out, it's really compelling. And ultimately, it's a game about a cat getting separated from his, you know, cat friends and him trying to
Hmm.
find his way back to his cat friends. Um, and that almost kind of takes a back seat to the other stories going on because he's just a cat, so it's hard for him to really show a lot of emotions because he's just a cat. Um,
Hmm.
but for the amount of emotions they do show with the cat, they do it well. Uh, but the gameplay, I thought the gameplay could have been better. I wish it was more of like a platformer than
Uh-huh.
it was. But that being said, the vibes were immaculate. Uh, it's just the most vibey game. Like you're just the cyberpunk aesthetic and the fact that you're just a cat and you can just like lie down wherever the fuck you want and you can just jump onto people's tables and just knock their shit over. It's
Nice.
fantastic. It's just the vibes are immaculate. You find like pieces of music and you can take it to this robot that plays guitar and he'll just play the music for you. Uh, n-
Cute.
None of the puzzles are like super hard. It's just like really chill. It's just super chill. They introduce a game mechanic where you like have this light and it kills these little blobby things. Um, and it's really basic and it's fun for about 10 minutes. And the game acknowledges this because they're like, okay. And then it breaks like right after you get it. Because it's like, yeah, that got played out real quick. You had fun with it. We're moving on now, and
Huh.
I appreciated that. Like it moved at such a quick pace. It almost felt like more of a proof of concept than a full game, and not in a bad way because this is like a really small team. I think it started out as like two guys and then turned into a team of like 15 or something. So my guess and my hope is that we'll see like a Stray 2 that's like more flushed out and we just get to see this cat go on more adventures.
Interesting. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, so never mind. But I know we don't do ratings here, like ever. We absolutely hate
Yeah.
ratings and they're a stupid waste of time. But if you had to, I know this is painful, but if you had to rate this game, say on a scale from, we'll just pick something random, one to 10,
Okay.
what do you think you'd give it?
Yeah, I don't do scores, but if I did do scores,
Yeah,
I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. Like
nice.
it's really solid. If you can get past the fact that it's only like 5 hours.
Hmm.
Um yeah, that I think that's the biggest issue with it is that it's short, but it's also what makes it good because if it was any longer than that,
It would kind of get dragged
it
out.
would get dragged out, it'd get boring because the mechanics are really basic. It's not like
Hmm.
you're jumping wherever you want. You have to go up to a thing and you'll see like a little X up here and you can jump there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's not like you can just jump whenever you want. It's pretty basic. Um, and for a 5 hour game, that's great. I would not recommend paying like $40 for it. If you do what I did, where you like upgrade your PlayStation Essentials to premium, totally worth it. I wouldn't pay $40 full price for this game just because it's so short. But the
Right.
vibes are immaculate. In the chat here, Ghost Hand 246 says, I want a stray like game for every single major mammal animal. Give me bear life simulator cyberpunk now.
There was a game
I like
that
that
was
idea. I'd fuck with that
there
100%.
was a game that was on the PlayStation Vita called Tokyo Jungle, where you played as different animals in a New York City apocalypse scape. It's a very, very good game. Um, and it's kind of like what you're talking about. So check that out.
Check it
It's
out.
called Tokyo Jungle. It's really cool. Really cool. Obviously, it's older, so it's not going to be like Stray exactly, but the concept is something to like what you're thinking.
It would be cool though if these guys like if their next game is like you're a dog, you know,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like we did
And
the
they just
cat.
go through they do go through the animal kingdom sort of thing.
Yeah,
You're a bee.
you're a bee, you're a rat. Yeah,
Mm,
I think bear would be tough just because like bears want to kill everything.
elephant.
Ghost Hand says Stray would be 11 out of 10 if it had drop out multiplayer like
No,
Journey. Yeah,
that
yeah.
would be cool.
I don't know how you'd implement it though. I really don't, unless there were other cats.
Just other cats roaming around.
But you can't do that. It ruins the story of the game because the whole game
Um,
is you trying to find your cat friends. And then if you find other cat friends, it's like,
what if it's a different story though? What if it's like
well, then it wouldn't be Stray.
help just help these people, these robot people out, you know?
I like the idea of Stray too as like, if you own a cat, especially one that like goes outside from time to time, which I wouldn't recommend by the way. If you have a cat, don't let it outside. It's a good way to spread diseases and kill bird
And
populations.
kill all of the birds.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, don't do that. But if you do that, I just imagine it's like you have this cat and he disappears and goes on this adventure, and then he comes back. You have no idea this cat just went on this like massive
Mhm.
adventure, And
It's like a homeward bound sort of situation.
yeah, yeah, totally. Or like Toy Story. Uh, it's like your toys just went on this like crazy adventure. You have no idea, you know.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I like it for that. I do. The one thing I think would have made the game an 11 out of 10 is if they added like some customization stuff where you could like put little sweaters on your cat,
That would
little
be
little
cute.
vest, because you're wearing like a little
Little hats.
backpack. You're wearing like a little backpack thing that the robot kind of lives in, and he kind of flies out and charges in it. It would be cool if you could customize that. But it's really cute when he puts that thing on you because he does like the cat thing where he's like uncomfortable with it on
Hmm.
and he kind of like crawls around for a minute. It's so cute, dude. They nail the cat aesthetic. Um, anyway, that's my Stray review.
Nice.
uh,
Nice. Very good.
let's move on to the titties, and a lot of these titties are like kind of full blown news stories. I just didn't have articles for them, so they're the
Okay.
titties.
We'll
Uh,
just talk about it.
But these are some tidbits of news that we feel like we want to talk about. First and foremost, Ubisoft delayed its Avatar game. It was pushed from 2022 to sometime in 2023 or 2024. I also think it's worth mentioning here that Assassin's Creed Rift is delayed to later next year as well, which was also, I think, supposed to come out this year. Um, and let me throw this in here before we get all analytical about it. I think Ubisoft just announced that they canceled 3 games, including a Tom Clancy VR game and some other
Yeah.
bullshit.
And Skull and Bones, hopefully.
No, Skull and Bones is
Damn
happening.
it. Damn it.
uh, I guess the reason I wanted to throw that all together is what's going on with Ubisoft, Nick?
They're sucking, man.
Yeah,
They're really bad. Ubisoft is a bad company right now, and I don't know what they're doing or what they're thinking. Um, the Avatar game, fuck it. I don't care if we ever get that game. Um, the fact that it's being pushed from 2 to 4 years or 2 to 3 years is it's kind of like okay, it's going the trajectory of an Avatar movie. You know,
yeah,
I
totally.
feel like it'll be like 15 years before we see this fucking game, and it'll be bad. Just like the Avatar movie that's going to come out pretty soon. Um, I don't know what Assassin's Creed Rift is, and I could care less about any sort of mobile games that may have canceled or VR games that they may have canceled.
So,
But
just for context on Assassin's Creed Rift, I guess Assassin's Creed Rift was initially going to be a DLC for Valhalla, but became like so large that they just made it its own standalone game.
really,
Yeah.
okay. Have
So
we seen any like? Is there a trailer for it or anything?
I don't know much about it, and if I'm being honest, I don't really care. I've been so off the Assassin's Creed boat, it's insane.
Yeah,
Uh, Especially, you too. Like we were both just the most massive
heavy,
Assassin's
heavy
Creed
into
fan.
it.
Right
Yeah,
around like the Ezio trilogy, like we were fucking massive into that shit, and I just feel like ever since like Assassin's Creed 3, it all just kind of there were good games in there like Black Flag. I think Syndicate was okay.
I loved Black Flag. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, that's another good point from Ghost Hand. Also, that Prince of Persia remake was taken out of the Indian Ubisoft studio,
Hmm.
and they're starting over from scratch. Yeah, there's a lot of like in-house Ubisoft problems, and I know if you remember, Nick, like last year we were talking all about how there was all the, abuse and charges
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff through
Uh-huh.
Ubisoft, and you wonder how much of that has to do with some of this stuff, and also,
Absolutely.
it's worth mentioning, COVID is also a thing. To be fair.
But I mean, other developers are getting along just fine. They're at least releasing games. I think the last thing Ubisoft really released that was of note was Rainbow Six Extinction or
Is
whatever
that
that
of
game was
note?
called. Is it? But like that was like their big thing that they were
Right.
showing off at every. There's like, oh, we got news for Assassin's or not Assassin, Tom Clancy's Extinction, and then nobody cared. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of over Ubisoft, honestly. I'm
S-
over them.
Skull and Bones is only coming out because Ubisoft has a deal with Singaporean government and they are forced to put out something. Is that true? Huh. How come they weren't forced to do it like 10 years ago when they announced the game? I don't know. I just feel like
I
they're
don't
at
know.
a point with Skull and Bones that they're like, we gotta fucking release it. We've spent like billions of dollars on this thing. We need to make at least like $10,000 back.
Do you
or
think it's gonna go free to play? They didn't say anything about it, but I feel like it'll go free to
uh,
play
maybe not
at some
initial.
point.
Yeah, maybe not
Yeah, yeah,
initially,
yeah.
but yeah, or it'll be like it's on
It,
PlayStation
yeah, yeah,
Premium
yeah. It's
or
on
whatever.
all of the free services. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
Xbox Game Pass, the PlayStation thing.
yeah, yeah. I could see that, or it just being like it's the free PlayStation Plus game for the month or whatever.
Hmm.
That could work for it as well. And to be honest, if it was the free game, I'd probably fuck with it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it though. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. Ubisoft. I hope they get their shit together. Because they have made games that I liked. They have.
Oh yeah, it's been a while though.
Yeah, and I
It's been a
always.
long
I
while.
always dip my toe back in, and I'm always disappointed. Like I bought Far Cry 6, and I'm like, "Oh, this
Hmm.
looks good. It's got Giancarlo Esposito. Let's go." I'm like, "Oh, it's bad. It's not good." Oh, yeah, it's so disappointing. Next titty. Black Panther will supposedly star in his own open world single player game. This news comes by way of GamesBeat journalist Jeff Grubb, who is known for accurately reporting on many unannounced projects. The Black Panther game is in development at a new Electronic Arts owned studio. Grubb says ex Monolith Productions VP Kevin Stevens is likely involved.
Oh.
Um, how do you feel about a Black Panther game being made by EA?
You know, the premise sounds cool. If we can do a Black Panther game set in like that futuristic Wakanda city, I would love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love like running around as Black Panther, going into the mines, going on the buildings, walking the streets of like this futuristic African city. I would love that. Absolutely. Um,
It's like Spider
but
Man, but you're in Wakanda instead of New
but you're in
York.
Wakanda. Yeah, exactly. If we get something like that, like a
That sounds
just like
pretty
an
cool.
action adventure sort of beat 'em up game, I'm all game for it. EA kind of scares me a little bit. that name attached to it kind of scares me.
Yeah.
But then you got X Monolith Productions VP in there, so
Yeah, and
Monolith's pretty great.
they have experience with open world games for sure.
So it's like it's a roller coaster of emotions for me on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I like the idea of a Black Panther game. I think of the scene where it's in Captain America Civil War, where it's Captain America and T'Challa and they're like running on the freeway. And it's like it'd be
Mm-hmm.
fun to just run real
Run,
fast
you run real fast and
as a
climb
Black
on
Panther.
buildings.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I don't like about this is that it's open world. I almost feel like a Black Panther game should be more of like a platformer type
What?
game,
No.
almost like Uncharted, but
No.
like with much larger areas so you can run around and stuff.
So you're saying like the Wolverine game is what
Yeah,
you want?
yeah, or what we assume the Wolverine game is gonna be.
No, I mean like the original Wolverine Origins
Oh
game.
yeah, that game rules, man. Yeah, totally. That game does fucking rule. I don't
I
know.
don't
Did you
know.
ever play it?
I played a little bit of it.
That game fucking rules, dude. It smacks so hard. I'd love a sequel to that game. Um,
You're
yeah,
getting one.
I just imagine it's like, oh, it's EA. Let's make it open world. We can add like cosmetics. We can add microtransaction.
It's single player though. Like, what are
That's
they gonna do? They didn't do that for their last single player game, which was Fallen Order.
which was not open world.
Kind of was.
It had just large spaces, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
linear story. And
Right. Well, yeah.
that's what I want from Black Panther actually. Is something more like that.
I don't know, man. That's so limiting for Black Panther.
Monolith also working on that Wonder Woman game. Good call. Good call. That's true. They are working on that game. We'll see what happens with that. I wonder if that'll be open world too.
Who's making that though?
Monolith.
Yeah, but who's the producer on that?
I don't know. I don't know people. I pretend to know
I,
people.
yeah, Wonder Woman game.
Oh, like who's the publisher?
Who's the publisher? It's Warner Bros.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Eh,
You said producer, so I was like, what? I don't know.
yeah, publisher is what I meant.
Yeah,
Produced by.
Warner Brothers. Which
Yes.
Warner Brothers has been in talks for a while that they're gonna like disband their gaming teams and like do what Disney's doing. I hope they don't though.
I hope they don't.
I actually like that they
Because
don't.
Disney's doing its game thing again.
What do you mean? With like
You know,
LucasArts?
I could see them doing LucasArts again. I could see them doing that.
Yeah, LucasArts is kind of back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Black Panther. I hope it's good, man. I like the idea of a Black Panther game. It's just
Mm-hmm.
every time I see EA, I get scared, and then especially
Mm-hmm.
EA Open World, it just scares me. Um, you know,
I mean, what EA open world game do you have?
especially when it's like ex Monolith producer. If you remember with the last what was the Lord of the Rings game, the second one. What was that
Oh
called?
yeah. Lord of the Rings,
Um,
Return of the King, the Two Towers. It's the Two Towers.
no.
I know what you're talking about.
Something War.
Shadow
Of War. Yeah.
Shadow of War.
Yeah, thanks, Ghost Hand. Shadow of War. If you remember, when that first came out, there was like a bunch of controversy about there being like microtransaction, and everyone's like, it's a single player game, but they put microtransactions in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, little. I can't
A little
help.
worried.
I can't help but be sketched out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Because EA's like the monetization. That's the meme, right? It's the monetization company.
Right.
That's what they're known for. Is how can we monetize everything in this game?
Yeah.
So
Uh.
it is what it is. Not really here to worry about it until it comes out, and then if they fuck it up, they fuck it up, and I won't buy it.
Amen, brother.
Simple as that.
Sorry, my shit got fucked. Hold on.
Wow,
We're
your
here.
shit got fucked. Somebody
We're
fucked
back.
your shit.
Something that also happened last week. We got a Last of Us Part 1 trailer and features video.
Hmm.
Did you watch this?
I watched most of it.
Most of it. It's a 10
You know
minute
what
video.
yeah, well, I think I watched it and then I was like, okay. You know the one thing I was watching for in this and I didn't fucking see? Joel jumping on the ground and shooting from the ground.
Going prone.
Or going prone, crawling around,
Yeah.
dogs, anything. Any sort of changes. It looks all visual and that's kind of
It's not all completely visual, though.
no, I mean the AI is a little better and the mocap's better, but I don't
Yeah.
know. There's more frames. Like I don't know. It seems like a remaster rather than a complete overhaul, which I was kind of
Yeah.
disappointed with.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, I was hoping for like at least dogs, which we could get. Maybe they just don't want to spoil the surprise yet.
Could be.
Um, but I don't know. That game comes out next week, I think. So,
No way. Well,
or no, it's next month, huh? It's September. I'm lying.
I don't know.
I think it's September.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm I was excited for it, and I am excited to play The Last of Us again, just because I love that game so much. Um, and I was planning on playing it on my PS5, but what I forgot to mention earlier is I just bought a new 3080 for my
Hmm.
computer.
Yeah.
Uh, so now I'm feeling kind of inclined to wait for it to come to PC, so I can
Yeah.
play it on my 3080. The
Yep.
only way I'm gonna play it on the PS5 is if I can find one of those Firefly collections, which sold out
Mm,
like
yep.
immediately. Uh,
Yep.
so that's the only
You want that?
way.
You want that steel book?
I want the steelbook, and it comes with like 3 comic books.
Nice.
And as a comic book man, that sounds great. Um, but yeah, it doesn't. I don't think they'll release more. I think the limited supply was all they're gonna do. Unfortunately. Um, the one thing that I thought was really neat about it was all the accessibility options that they showed. I think all the
Yeah.
accessibility stuff is cool. They just sort of implemented all the stuff from Last of Us Part
Hmm.
2 into this. So yeah,
But they showed off like a part where it was like completely narrated.
yeah,
Did you see that part? It
yeah.
was like, whoa, that's weird. Was that in the second one too?
I I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think it
It
was.
was just like, and Joel like sits on the couch, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, whoa, shit. There's like full
S-
good closed captions,
So you
audible
could
closed
literally
captions.
play the game if you're blind, if you wanted
Yeah,
to, which is cool.
very cool, very
Yeah.
cool.
Um,
Fucking video games as a book. Could you imagine?
I'm still convinced though that well, graphic novels are like very famous.
But I mean, you know what I mean
Visual
though,
novels and
like just an audio book, but
yeah,
you've got a controller in your hand. You
yeah,
know, could
yeah.
just that's
Just
weird. It's
pressing
weird.
X. Uh, I still am of the opinion that this game is not exactly for us. I think it's not for the diehards. I think it's coming out before the HBO show,
Hmm.
and then when the HBO show comes out, there's gonna be a lot of people that are like, "What's this Last of Us thing?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, Last of Us Part 1, Part 2." And I bet next year they will release it in some sort of bundle where you can buy them together.
Yeah.
And all the new people who are coming into it because of the show can now play it, and it won't feel as dated. Um,
I could see that.
which, in my opinion, I don't even think the first Last of Us feels that dated. I see a lot of people online saying it is. I don't think it is, man. I think it
No.
holds up really well. I think all
Yeah.
of you guys are
I
just fucking losers.
yeah, that's a good game. Like they
Yeah,
made that game to last. There are other games that need to be updated, and
totally.
Last of Us was not one of them. Like Bloodborne, I've seen a whole bunch of people like, give us Bloodborne remaster. I'm like, why? The game's fine other than the frame rate.
Yeah.
Like that's
The
just
only
fix the frame rate. That's an update, you
the
know?
only thing with Bloodborne is yeah, just bring it to PC so we can play it at like some silky
Mm-hmm.
smooth speeds
Yep.
and stuff. I don't need like a
Yep.
whole new game. Uh, Same with The Last of Us, and like if The Last of Us remastered didn't exist, I'd maybe feel hotter on this. But Last of Us
Yeah.
remastered exists,
Yeah.
and the remaster was done in house by Naughty Dog,
Mm-hmm.
and they specifically did it so they're like we could play with the PS4 assets and stuff.
Yeah.
And this just feels a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
uh because I don't know, I still really like the gameplay of the first one. Like, it's simple but effective, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So we'll see. I'm still gonna play it at some point. Whenever it comes to PC, I'll get it. But speaking of Naughty Dog and The Last of Us gameplay, um the game director of the original Last of Us, Bruce Straley, is establishing a new studio called Wildflower Interactive. This comes from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Um, Bruce Straley, the director of Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, The Last of Us, and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, who left Naughty Dog in September 2017, has announced the establishment of Wildflower Interactive, a new game studio. Quote, in 2017, this is a quote from Bruce Straley, by the way. In 2017, I left the industry, not sure if I wanted to make games anymore, Straley said in the studio's announcement video. But the longer I was away, I kept thinking about this medium and everything yet to be done and everything I wanted to do still. And this idea kept following me. So I grabbed some friends and we started prototyping. And the idea started getting good. It started becoming exciting again. And I realized I need to make this game. But if I'm going to make this game, it means I have to build a team. And if I build a team, I have to build a company. And, well, if we're going to do that, then we have to do it the right way. Straley continued, it has to be inclusive, equitable, and collaborative, full of big-hearted people that want to grow both professionally and personally. The culture needs to be as iterative as the way we make games, so we're doing it. I'm stoked to announce our new company, Wildflower Interactive, and we've got an exciting partner that supports what we're doing and going to help us reach the broadest audience possible. We already have an amazing team that I'm humbled I get to work with every day, and we need more great people, so we're hiring. Come join us. Look, doing this super weird for a video game nerd like me, but I'm super excited by the announcement, and I'm super excited by what we're building over here. In addition to Straley's credits at Naughty Dog, the staff have collectively worked on titles such as Call of Duty, The Pathless, Abzu, and Kenna Bridge of Spirits. That's a lot that I just
It's
read
exciting.
there.
It's exciting.
Any thoughts?
This dude sounds super genuine. I don't know who this guy is.
You don't know Bruce Straley?
I don't know Bruce Straley.
So back during The Last of Us, it was like the story director was Neil Druckmann, who we all know,
right,
and the game director was Bruce Straley. So they were like the two heads of The Last of Us and Uncharted 4, and then Bruce Straley even goes farther back than Neil Druckmann, back with like Amy Hennig. He was like the game director on those old Uncharted games as well. Bruce, I remember actually, I think we probably didn't back in 2017. I do remember when he quit. It was before The Last of Us 2 came out. It was like right in the middle of them making The Last of Us 2. And I remember being kind of worried when he left. I'm like, oh shit, is The Last of Us 2 going to work?
I do kind of remember that.
Yeah, and it did, but it did feel different, right? Like, it does feel different. Like, he does have like I said, with that I like about The Last of Us is like it's a more of a simple design, and I feel like that's what he wants to do. I think he wants to make it like this is definitely a smaller company than Naughty Dog.
Oh yeah.
He wants to, like, if we get a game like Kenna Bridge of Spirits out of Bruce Straley, like that sounds amazing.
Yeah, sounds like it would play very well.
Yeah. So I'm excited that Bruce Straley's back because I'm a massive fan of him.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm excited, and he sounds really down to earth. Really, just loves video games. It's just like, hey, we're just trying to make this thing the best we can, and we're gonna get some good people to do it.
Yeah, it almost sounds like Naughty Dog like beat him the fuck down, and after The Last of Us and Uncharted 4, he's like, man, I don't know if I could do this anymore, and now he's like found his love again. So
he's found it. Yeah.
Which is great, and I'm excited. Whatever they do, I will buy it and play it 100%.
Just keep an eye out for Wildflower.
Yeah, definitely. And our last piece of news here: Mojang blocks Minecraft NFT support. says they're inconsistent with long-term joy. This comes from Cameron Koch or Cock.
Nice.
Cameron Cock at GameSpot. Minecraft developer Mojang is making
Maybe it's
clear.
Koch.
Could be Koch. You're right. Cameron
That's
Koch.
maybe Cameron Koch.
Yeah, you're right. Minecraft developer Mojang is making clear that it will not allow blockchain technology like NFTs to be integrated within its massively popular game, stating it believes NFTs to be, quote, inconsistent with the long-term joy and success of our players. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are digital assets on the blockchain, like JPEGs of artwork or even in-game files that, when purchased, grant ownership of that particular file. However, those files can be, and often are, copied or stolen, calling into question exactly how valuable these digital files truly are. As Mojang explained in a new blog post, allowing server owners to implement NFT integration and play-to-earn features, which could reward players with NFT forms of in-game skins and items, would take the focus away from playing the game and allow for profiteering. That's not what Minecraft is all about, Mojang says. The crux of the matter comes down to the fact that allowing players to earn NFT rewards would create an ecosystem of haves and have-nots, which goes against Minecraft's values of inclusion and playing together. Mojang goes as far as to call NFTs against the spirit of Minecraft. There's also the issue of fraud. Mojang notes that there have been instances where NFTs were sold at artificially and fraudulently inflated prices, and that developer is concerned that third-party NFTs are not reliable and could end up costing players.
Good on you. Good on you, Mojang.
Yeah.
Mojang.
And I imagine Xbox is a big part of that as well.
Yeah. It's true though. Could you imagine? Because like little kids play this. Teachers
Exactly.
teach like basic computing on Minecraft. It's a great tool, not only a game, but it does multiple functions. Do you imagine having an NFT and selling NFT to children who don't understand anything, but they see like, oh, that guy has that. I want that. I can't get that. I'm going to spend an incredible amount of my parents' money to have this one thing because I don't know monetary value yet. Like, I feel like parents would kill themselves, kids would kill themselves over jealousy. Shit would get really wild and it would become an issue. It'd be like putting NFTs in Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, that seems kind of believable, actually. But
it seems believable, but like, would you want that to happen? I would never want that to happen. Like, that doesn't seem healthy for an ecosystem of children. That would probably be
well, here's
it's
a fun thing for you. This comes from GameSpot. Grace Benfell. Epic has reaffirmed its policy to allow NFTs and cryptocurrency integrated games on the Epic Game Store. As other platforms have banned the use of NFTs, Epic has continued to allow the technology, even as it doesn't use it in its own games. Here's a quote from Tim Sweeney, who is like the Epic guy, the CEO. Developers should be free to decide how to build their games, and you are free to decide whether to play them. I believe stores and operating system makers shouldn't interfere by forcing their views onto others. We definitely won't.
That makes sense. That goes with like a freedom of speech. That's a very capitalistic way of looking at shit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong because I'm not the police. You're just on my shit, and I'm not going to block whatever it is you do because it doesn't affect me.
Well, and especially after like Epic had that massive battle with Apple sort of recently, where it's like,
yeah, it would be kind of like it would be kind of a fucking not a double-edged sword, but what is that? I can't think of the word.
Words are hard, man. I get
Where
it.
it's like they say one thing but they do another. Hypocritical. It would be very hypocritical.
Oh, you mean the word I just said? Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I guess it's a tough spot for Epic to be in, I think, to be fair, to be completely fair. I do wonder, like, a lot of countries, not this country, but a lot of countries, Australia being a big one, and then some other European countries are like looking into loot boxes and stuff like that, and NFTs, and they mention it here at the end, like that the fraudulent natures of NFTs and like the rug pulls of NFTs, and
Mhm.
the fact, the big part with Minecraft and uh, Fortnite as well, a
Mhm.
bunch of other games. Yeah, these are games that kids play, and like NFTs are dangerous, man, and like, um,
Well, MLMs are dangerous, you know.
yeah, well,
Pyramid schemes are
yeah,
dangerous. Yeah.
yeah, well, and I don't think there's any place for them to be on a marketplace, for that kind of
Mhm.
slimy, scammy stuff. Like why put
Yeah.
that in your store? It's
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. It's capitalism. Like what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of sucks, and it just brings me back to like I'm worried about the state of games, where it's like we've got games that games are coming to streaming services, which is seems cool for now, but like at what point does Phil Spencer step down and then that turns into a hellscape, and then they're
Yeah.
like, let's implement NFTs into our games that you have to have a streaming service to play, and then a company starts making these banger games, and as soon as they have these banger games that people love, they get bought by these bigger companies, and then they put in their NFTs, and like it's just it's a
Yeah.
it's a depressing place that we live in when games just used to be fucking games. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they just used to be fucking games, and now there just needs to be these fucking NFTs and like in-game purchases and DLCs, and it's just like, can we just have a fucking game? And they exist. Don't get me wrong. That stuff does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't. Obviously, I love video games. That's why I'm here. But like, and maybe I sound like an old man because I am. But like, damn, man, that was one thing I really loved about Stray. I played Stray, and I was done with Stray. Like it was a game that I
It was an
played,
experience.
and
Yeah.
it sucks that there's no multiplayer games anymore that are like that. It used to
Mhm.
be where it's like you used to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and it's like
Yep.
there was some like minor DLCs or something, but like the game was the game, and it was a game. Like there was a progression system, and you had to
Mhm.
unlock things, and like
Yep.
it used to be like you'd
Through
go into
through the game, not through your credit card.
right, you'd go into a match of Halo, and you'd see a dude with a cool skin, and you'd be like, damn, must have
How do I get that?
that dude
And then
must
you'd
have
look
put
it
a
up.
lot of hours in, and now you see that dude in Halo, and you're like, that dude paid $50 for that skin.
Paid too much money for it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's
I agree,
it's
100%.
so fucking lame, and it's so depressing, and NFTs are the worst because that's where all this shit is heading, where it's like, you want a skin that's just your skin? Well, it's an NFT, and it's only yours through this, blockchain. And it's like, dude, no, I just want to unlock it through playing the game. I don't want to. I have
I
a
feel like
closet full of clothes that I bought already. I don't need
yeah,
that in a virtual world, okay?
yeah.
Like it's so frustrating. Anyway,
I don't
rant.
need to buy two pairs of shirts just for me and my avatar in a game.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
not fun. It's not fun.
no,
It's
no.
it's fucking lame.
It kills a game.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
will proceed to do this forever because of whales. So like even if like me and you, we never buy shit, and if we do, it's
Mhm.
very rare.
Right.
But all it takes is like 10% of your audience to buy this shit, and you've made all your money that you would have
Yep.
made previously just by
Yep.
putting it into the game. It's just it sucks. Anyway, in the chat here, we've got Name Upcoming, and he or she says, Lonercast is to podcast what Don Henley is to the Eagles, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I have a guess on who this is, but I won't say on stream.
I have no idea what that means, but I appreciate it.
You don't know who Don Henley is? He's like
I
this.
don't.
He's like one of the singers of the Eagles. He's like the drummer
Uh,
guy. Anyway, oh, we're
Hotel California. Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
he wrote,
Okay.
yeah. We're gonna start a new stream where it's just the boys break down the Eagles.
Oh God. Count me out.
Any final thoughts on Mojang
No,
or
good on them.
Epic?
Good on them. That's Epic's doing what they're doing, and if they did it any other way, I feel like they get a lot of flack. So
Yeah,
I'm in support of Epic. I'm in support of Mojang. Just, you
yeah.
know. Just companies doing what they need to do to survive in this,
Yeah.
capitalistic world that we live in.
Recent reviews via OpenCritic. Stray, as we stated earlier, got an 84. That comes from 121 critic reviews. And Live Alive got an 81 from 35 critic reviews. That's pretty decent. I wish it was higher.
All right.
I do plan on playing that game eventually. Anyway,
Yes, you should.
I plan on it. I hear it's a lot shorter than Triangle Strategy, so that gives me.
Oh, well, there you go.
I hear it's like 20 hours, and I'm like, I can do 20 hours.
Mhm.
Next week in games, Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent comes out on iOS and Android July 27th. I didn't know what this was until I added it here. It looks like just Octopath Traveler, but they turned it into an iOS game, and they had to simplify it a bit so it could run, but
Yeah.
it kind of just looked like Octopath. So
Cool.
from the trailer I saw, I need to look into it more. One of my most hyped games of the year, Bear and Breakfast, comes out on PC July 28th. Very excited for Bear and Breakfast. Very excited.
That's a game right up your alley.
Yeah, it's
You love that kind of shit.
it's kind of like that 2 Point Hospital, but it's a
Yeah,
bed and
cool.
breakfast instead of a hospital, and you're a bear.
Yeah. That or Prison Architect.
Yeah, it's kind of like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
God,
Yep.
I should play Prison Architect again. What a great game.
Well, 2 Point Campus is coming out this year too sometime.
And in October, I think, and it's going to be on Game Pass, which I love that.
Nice.
I love that. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes to the Switch on July 29th.
Nice.
I know a lot of people are excited for that, so let's go.
I can't believe we're on 3 and we're barely getting Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
That's just wild. That's wild to me.
I remember when 2 came out. It feels like yesterday, but in reality,
it feels like
it was like 4 years ago, so
crazy.
We still haven't got Metroid. That's the crazy thing.
Or another Mario Kart.
But they never announced a new Mario Kart. They did announce a Metroid Prime.
But we're still haven't gotten a Mario Kart. It's been like 15, 20 years.
That's true.
And we're still on Mario Kart 8. So
that's true.
Games as service.
Has it really been 15?
I don't know. It's not. I just threw a random fucking number
maybe
out
like
there.
7.
I think it came out in 2008 though.
For real?
I don't know.
That was a Wii U game.
No, because it was Wii U. Mario Kart 8. Let's see. I will look this up. Release date 2017.
Oh.
Too long.
Yeah.
7 years.
It's a long time. Check out the other Loner Cast shows. We have a spoiler cast. We're going to be reviewing Solo today, which is
hold on.
Oh.
That's
deluxe.
That's the Switch.
Oh, okay.
2014.
Oh, wow.
It's been 10 years. It's been fucking 10 years.
Well, it's been 8 years.
You're right. It's been 8 years.
Yeah.
May 29th, 2014.
If you're rounding, though, it's been 10, yeah.
It's been 10 years. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts. Anyway, check out the other Loner Cast shows. We're doing a solo spoiler cast right after this, and those go up on the YouTube channel as well. You can watch them live on twitch.tv/LonerCast, and you can find them on podcast services by going to LonerCast on any of your favorite podcast services. Of course, this show you can find on podcast services by looking up Last Week in Games. We're the Don Henley of podcasts. You heard it here first, folks. we're the Don Henley. We're the Brian Wilson. Like Brian Wilson is to the Beach Boys. We are to podcasts. Okay.
We're the Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Of podcasts. We're going to kill ourselves.
Probably true. We are I'm running out of these. We are the Joker of podcasts because we've created our own society.
Nice.
And we live in it.
And we have no plan.
Check us out on Twitter @LonerCast1. You get some updates to the show and stuff. And when I post other YouTube stuff, I tend to post updates on the Twitter. But you can also follow me on Twitter at emergencypizza_. I also post updates, so if you want just a more personalized, fun time, check out emergencypizza_. And check out Nick on Twitter at fatal_microwave. He just comments on things from time to time, and I
From time
appreciate
to
that.
time.
I
And
appreciate
I
that.
share some things every once in a while. Or
Yeah.
it's pretty quiet over there, to be
Yeah, it's
honest.
pretty quiet.
You don't have to follow
But
me,
if
but
he,
follow the show.
but
Follow
if
the show.
everyone followed him on Twitter, he'd be obligated. You know,
That is very true.
he'd feel obligated. I
I
bet.
would have to, step up my game.
You want to know?
You'd force me into.
Yeah, you want to know Nick's thoughts on Elon Musk buying Twitter? You got to follow him on Twitter to find out.
That's true. I actually did comment on one of Elon's posts recently. So,
and if you want to see that, you got to go follow him.
You got to follow me.
That's it.
I won't spoil it here. You can look it up for yourself.
Anyway, that's the show. Moms and stuff.